Tonight in our Swamp Watch slot, we've got something a bit special. Now, we all know Silicon Valley is run by the left. I certainly know because I live there. But this week, we discovered it's not only full of liberals, it's full of liberals who truly despise anyone who is different. The lawsuit filed by former Google engineer James Damore includes multiple examples of actual conversations between Google employees, conversations that reveal the toxic hate inside that company. Tonight, we're going to show you those messages for the first time. Right here in Southern California, Disneyland famously bills itself as the happiest place on earth. On the basis of this new evidence, the question tonight is whether Google is, in fact, the most hateful place on earth. We took a close look at the paperwork in this week's lawsuit and found truly shocking examples of hateful treatment and deeply held contempt for anyone who dares question the liberal elite worldview. Google employees use an internal service called MemeGen to create messages that are communicated inside the company. It's supposed to be for sharing ideas and information, but when it comes to politics, its main function seems to be to share vicious anti-conservative bile, like this little charmer. And a reminder, these are all directly from the Damore lawsuit. Do you ever wish you were a corporation or a fetus so Republicans would finally treat you like a human being? Or try this one. People in Indiana are bigots, but they don't call it bigotry. What do they call it? Religious freedom. These Googlers, as they like to call themselves, seem to have a thing about religion. Legitimate worldviews, conservative Christianity. I admire your tolerance, but pairing those two phrases still sounds like an oxymoron to me. And again, if you express a dunderheaded opinion about religion, about politics, or about social justice, it turns out I'm allowed to think you're a half-wit. I'm perfectly within my rights to mentally categorize you in my D-head box. Is that a new feature on Gmail? Whatever. Looks like an awful lot of Americans are being put in that category. Listen to this. A majority of people who identify themselves as Republicans also believe the Earth is 10,000 years old. Therefore, by logical deduction, I personally believe that a majority of self-identified Republicans can be placed in the bucket category of idiots or uneducated, and I'm not afraid to say it. A bucket of idiots, eh? Remind you of anyone? Oh yes, here we go. I think of all Trump supporters are deplorable for backing an openly racist candidate. But that's none of my business. Well, at least that person's right about that. Didn't stop the Google anti-Trump onslaught, though. I'm just going to remind everyone that some of the people who work at Google voted for Trump. Unfortunately, that puts them at odds with basic human decency. Well, of course it does, if you're at Google. After all, quote, the choice to be a Republican is the choice to align yourself with a white supremacist, xenophobic regime. And as everyone knows, America First is a slogan for American Nazis. Now, as we know, liberals are all about tolerance and diversity. So when some people inside Google objected to this kind of thing, their colleagues supported their right to speak out. Oh, wait, come on. It's Google. No free speech at Google. Quote, yes, this is silencing, wrote one Googler. I intend to silence these views. They are violently offensive. Another said, I will never ever transfer you onto my team. Ever. I don't care if you are perfect fit or technically excellent or whatever. I will actively not work with you, even to the point where your team or product is impacted by this decision. I'll communicate why to your manager if it comes up. I guess that's what happens when a Silicon Valley tech person comes across someone with a different worldview. Their head explodes, and they ask questions like this. Dear Trump supporters, I keep hearing people feeling unsafe about supporting Trump. Please help me understand how, as a rational person, as a Googler, anyone could possibly support Trump. That's right, half of America. How could you? By the way, don't get any ideas about asking people in Silicon Valley to respect your political choices. If you feel uncomfortable around people who do not share your beliefs, you need to reevaluate them, not pressure others into assuaging you. Reevaluate? What kind of outfit are they running over there at Google? Some communist re-education facility? It could even be worse than that. Check out this exchange about handling Donald Trump's victory. How do people cope with this? I've never been part of a military or war effort before. I guess I can be useful as IT support or for hacking, but my emotions keep swinging between despair and anger, and I don't know how useful I'll be. You won't believe the answer. Get in touch with your friendly local Antifa. Don't try to do this alone. There are people who've been fighting neo-Nazis for decades. They are nice people, generally. So, Google employees are telling each other to go and join Antifa. Wow, that is some change from Don't Be Evil. Of course, Google's anti-conservative ranting and raving wouldn't be complete without a ritual attack on this channel. If I wanted to work somewhere where white nationalists, racists, climate deniers and misogynists were supported as viewpoints worthy of protection, I'd find a job at Fox News or in the Trump administration. Oh, really? Well, thanks for letting us know. What a bunch of hate-filled bigots seem to work at Google. And it's something we should all be concerned about. Look at this typically condescending comment. Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. Well, here's my version of that meme. Never underestimate the power of hateful people in large tech companies. Because the serious point about all this is that the contempt for conservatives inside Google translates into real discrimination and harm outside Google. Think about it. How many times a day do you do a simple Google search? Those instant results you get back are generated by algorithms. Algorithms written by people. People who are overwhelmingly liberal. And as we've seen tonight, hateful.